Welcome back guys to another GTA video, and in today's one we are finally completing the Lowriders career progress with the final two missions, Desperate Times Call For and Peace Offerings. But starting things off, let's have a look at the career progress itself, and jumping in you can see that we have in fact completed all of the Lowrider missions on hard mode. The only one we need to worry about on 50% is Peace Offerings, but we do have 80% on this mission to achieve, as well as Peace Offerings. So jumping in, I do still have Saz, Nodix and of course Grexy helping me out here, and as I do need the 80% accuracy on this one, all I'm going to do is sit back and not fire a single bullet. The boys are actually taking out and making very light work of the enemies down there in Grove Street. But with them all taken out, we can then move over to the second location, and this one is of course chasing down the ballers on their bikes and in the van. The second phase of the mission here is actually probably the most difficult part of this mission, due to the fact that the enemies are in vehicles and on bikes. But once again, taking most of them out while we're still seated in the van, although one of the boys do jump out just to take out the remaining ballers. Now I'm not sure if that is Saz or Nodix, as they do both have the same outfit on. It definitely was one of them though. Now we can then move on to the third phase of this mission, and it is heading over to the Richmond Hotel, where we do need to eliminate Pedro Carlos. But before we go up and trigger that checkpoint, both Nodix and Saz head up just to clear out all the enemies out the front before actually triggering that checkpoint. Once they've all been taken out, they jump back into the van and the checkpoint gets triggered. It's at that point Pedro Carlos does start coming out the hotel. And with that checkpoint triggered, Pedro does in fact come out the hotel, but it's only him that we need to worry about now that all the people out the front have been taken care of. And with him done, we can then jump back in the van and head over to the fourth location, and that is up here in North Chumash. Once again though, I am just going to sit back and watch the boys' handiwork on the minimap, and there is Grexy showing off a bit of Benny's suspension on the moonbeam. But taking a look at the minimap, you can see that the boys make very light work of both the Vagos at the end of the pier and Jose Carlos coming in on the boat. There was one Vagos left over right at the end of the pier, but Nodix heads all the way down there to take him out, as he was hiding behind the building itself. But with him gone, we can then head over to the final location, which is along the Gran Sonora Freeway. And it's just quite simply taking out these helicopters. Now as you can see, we'll get Saz over there with the pink boots on. I think that is Saz anyway. Takes out the chopper on the left, and it does nearly take him out as well. Having a quick look back at that, you can see it's a nice shot on that chopper, but it comes in and yep, what nearly wipes him out. Luckily he did actually survive that, and we progressed all the way to the final location, where all we had to do was hit the marker and destroy the moonbeam itself. And with the moonbeam destroyed, we do get the final bit of dialogue from Lamar just before we get the mission pass screen, and of course I did achieve that with the 80% accuracy. So jumping into the final mission itself, it is Peace Offerings, and I'm crouching taking cover already. What I did forget was that we do actually have to go and collect a couple of cars and bring them back to Benny's first of all. So once again, helping me out on this one was Nodix, Saz and Grexy. So jumping into Nodix's watermelon of a Karuma, we head off and pick up the Buccaneer. Couple of enemies to take out whilst they're inside the Buccaneer, but we make light work of that, and Nodix jumps in and drives the Buccaneer all the way back to Benny's. Arriving back at Benny's, I think there was one or two minor issues with police and the occasional, I'm not sure what that was, sounded like a railgun going off, but they did eventually get both of those cars to hit the marker, and once that's done we do trip the cutscene with Lamar.
We ain't gotta worry about Lowriders no more unless you try to drop some of that hard-earned bread with your boy LB though.
But of course that was not the mission finished. The hardest part of the mission just about to start, and it is of course the shootout just outside of Benny's. And once again, as I was the only one requiring any of the tier 4 achievements, I hid in the corner and did absolutely nothing. I'm not entirely sure why I've brought up my snack menu, as I do require the 50% health on this one, as well as the 80% accuracy. But as you can see, both Nodix, Saz and Grexy doing a fine job taking out all of the enemies and keeping me safe. With this mission itself, there are a good number of enemies that you do need to take out, but providing you react quickly enough to each of the sides that they come in at, you won't have too many to deal with at the one time. As you can see from the minimap, it's only a few that spawn in on each side at any one time, and so long as you're quick enough to react to those enemies spawning in, you won't have them all coming at you at the same time from each side. In terms of the number of waves that you get during this mission, you do get 2 waves of enemies from both sides before finally getting a 3rd wave from the main entrance side. And with this being the 2nd wave from this side, with them all but gone, we do start getting the final wave coming in from the main road. And just before we finish this one off, I do want to give a huge shout out and thanks to the boys from the EU crew. There we have Saz, we've got Nodix and we've got Grexy there, so huge shout out and thanks to them. But with all those enemies taken out, we get the cutscene and of course the mission pass screen. Coming out of the mission, we do get the pop-up notification for the requirements for the tier 4 being ticked off, and jumping into the career progress itself, you can see that I can now claim the rewards, which are once again the 5,000 RP, the 150,000 GTA dollars, and of course the hoodie. But there you have it guys. If you did enjoy today's video, do leave a like, and if you are new here, why not consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.